"Then it definitely doesn't have anything to do with us," he said firmly. They consumed their evening coffee in silence, but he kept thinking about the car. Who would sit out in that cold for so long? The lights in the farmhouse windows of the few scattered yards in the landscape had long since been extinguished, one by one. It had begun to snow again. The flakes dropped like glittering crystals, settled on shrubs and trees, forming a protective white blanket against the harsh frost. They lit up in the stillness of the night, broken only by the eerie screeches of a tawny owl and the quiet creaking of car doors as they were slowly opened. 3 dark figures stepped out and began to walk along the road. They melted into the grey shadows of the trees, walking silently in the snow in white wellies, slowly and purposefully, and with black balaclavas to protect against the cold. They had waited a long time, and the time had now come. Chapter 2. Detective Inspector Roland Benito froze even more as he stepped out of the car's warmth. He pulled the collar of his coat well up around his ears. Very bloody funny to be ordered out of his warm bed at 3 o'clock in the morning by Chief Superintendent Kurt Olsen's hoarse, sleepy voice on the phone. He had been short-tempered and given only a few vital details, such as an address and what little he knew about the crime for now. It hadn't sounded as violent as it had looked at first glance when Roland was greeted by the police barricade that contrasted with the snow-white surroundings, fluttering proof that a crime had taken place. A fact that was reconfirmed by the forensic technicians in the yard. In the dark, their white suits merged with the snow that was falling quietly, reminiscent of a peaceful Christmas night. Discouraged, he walked across the yard. The technicians only glanced at him and said a brief hello as he walked past them. The officer in front of the door handed him a white overall, latex gloves, a face mask, a blue plastic hat, and shoe covers. As he put the suit on, he fleetingly noticed that the front door had been broken open at the lock. Forensics were working inside the house too, taking fingerprints and collecting evidence. Kurt Olsen had arrived and was talking to an excited woman in a darkened bedroom. He wasn't recognizable either in the white suit that was mandatory at a crime scene. Another woman was sitting on the bed. Her nose and upper lip were bleeding, and one eye was red and swollen shut. Yet another home robbery in an otherwise quiet and peaceful area far out in the country, where, in days gone by, you never had to lock your door. After banks and businesses had become impregnable forts with improved security, expensive alarm systems, and surveillance, burglars were now seeking other targets, mostly the elderly, the innocent, and the defenseless, who never dreamed of something like this happening in their peaceful neighborhoods, and certainly not in their own safe homes. According to the myth, it was foreign gangs. Eastern Europeans in particular were blamed. But an analysis from the Danish National Police resulted in completely different figures. Most crimes were actually committed by young Danes, quite often very young Danes. Roland thought it must be the crime scene he was looking at from the doorway. A lamp had fallen from the bedside table, and he glimpsed blood on the pillow behind the woman on the bed. She sat like a white plaster figure, petrified, staring into thin air. He judged her to be in her late 50s. The woman who spoke to Kurt Olsen appeared a little younger and had a sturdy appearance and rough features, a wide nose, glasses with oval lenses, and mouse-brown hair. Wisps stuck out of a messy hairdo, probably tousled from sleep. Her voice was deep and hoarse, but that could have been due to anxiety or nervousness. He looked around the house and found forensic pathologist Henry Leander in the kitchen with a couple of technicians. They were taking pictures of a lifeless man lying on the floor in a distorted position. Yet another crime scene. Roland nodded a greeting that was silently answered by Leander, who rose from his kneeling position and looked at him with a serious expression. "What would you do if you were assaulted in the middle of the night in your own home?"